Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. This is episode 483 of the Ping Pong Flix Show. And today I decided, since there's so much stuff coming about for the female characters of the DCEU, today is all centered around. Anyway, it is the Birds of Prey week. We're having Birds of Prey this weekend, which I am very much looking forward to checking that out. But there has some new things coming out from other movies as well. First one is Black Adam. Black Adam movies reportedly casting a Justice Society of America's Cyclone, a new character in the DC universe. Justice Society of America's Cyclone being cast to appear in Warner Brothers' upcoming Black Adam movie. Justice Society of America's Cyclone is currently being cast to appear in Warner Bros.' upcoming Black Adam movie. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has been attached to the DC Extended Universe role of Black Adam since 2007. Wow, was that long ago? Before the ongoing wave of superhero films. Once the DCU began, the Black Adam character was rumored to have a cameo appearances in Shazam and the Suicide Squad. However, that plan has been abandoned as the anti-hero will now be introduced in an origin film that will spearhead a new chapter of the DCEU. Besides initiating the story of Black Adam, the upcoming film will also introduce the Justice Society of America, or JSA, who, according to Johnson himself, plays a pivotal role in Black Adam's story. Before Johnson's confirmation of this, rumors had been circulating the internet for months, including on this channel, suggesting the script for Black Adam would present JSA heroes Hawkman, Stargirl, and Atom Smasher. Now it appears we can add another name to that superhero roster. According to the Illuminati, a casting call has gone out for the role of Cyclone in Black Adam, a wind-manipulating legacy heroine of the JSA. The production is reportedly looking for an actress in her 20s to play that will be the film's leading female character. In the comics, Cyclone's real name is Maxine Hunkel, a college student and granddaughter of the Golden Age's Red Tornado, Abigail Ma Hunkel. Cyclone is a relatively new character in the DC Comics universe, and it is unclear how she will be incorporated, if not only Black Adam, but the DCEU and its ever-changing landscape. The source material sees Maxine take up the mantle of Cyclone as a JSA recruit, and it seems likely that Black Adam will adapt this plot point. Black Adam will feature an old and ancient Hawkman, most likely familiar with the equally old and ancient Black Adam. Hold on a second. As Black Adam comes into conflict with Hawkman and the JSA, there may be a generational shift in JSA leadership. Younger characters like Cyclone and Atom Smasher, who will reportedly be love interests, might end up graduating into more prominent JSA roles by Black Adam's end. And the news that Cyclone will be appearing as Black Adam could be bad for Stargirl. In the comics, Stargirl is often depicted as the love interest of Atom Smasher. Cyclone being cast in a similar role could either mean that Stargirl's role in the story is being omitted or reduced to something love triangle-esque. The CW's upcoming television series Stargirl may be one of the reasons for this complication. Warner Brothers may not have wanted to distract from a pivotal entry in the DCEU. Regardless, Black Adam is shaping up to be a jam-packed adventure about more than just the corrupt Egyptian predecessor of Shazam. So that is Cyclone right there. Now a couple things interesting is that, one, I've never heard of this character. Of course, I'm not really too in depth into Black Adam lore and such, or too much of the JSA, but I do know of them. And Cyclone, they're putting her in here. What they're talking about, how it may be replacing the Stargirl element because of the Stargirl television series, is something that has happened before. Now, we kind of did away with that by having two Flashes appear in the CW universe, right? So that is also something to be said about that. But I do see that lots of times. Like, we're doing Stargirl here. You cannot do Stargirl here. We're doing Supergirl here. You can't do Supergirl here. We're doing Superman here. You can't do Superman. It is. We're doing Batman here. You can't do Batman here. They have that so often, and I don't currently really truly understand the logistics of that and how there's some legal rights issues there that could be being part of that. That part I still don't understand. I hope that's not the case. Usually, I would rather let each medium get to use fully, have all rights to use any character that would actually help their story move along, right? I don't like seeing stories change, characters thrown away, and putting another character in just because, oh, the legal rights, the paperwork and everything, it makes it difficult. That sucks. That kind of just really kind of just doesn't let the creative flow, right? If the person really wanted in mind to have Stargirl in there and can't use them and decide, you know what, you can use Cyclone instead. Here you go, Cyclone instead. No, we can't use Stargirl because we're using Stargirl for this side of the universe, and so if that's the case, that really is that really sucks, and I hope that's not really the case. If it's not the case, then fine, that's cool. We'll have more characters in the JSA be involved in this, and which is starting to be a pretty substantial film, like a really substantial film. Like it's not a Black Adam origin. This has a whole, pretty much a Justice League, Justice Society of America, like a Justice League for people who don't know, within that film as well. It's going to be a pretty big blockbuster movie. And so that is actually more enticing to me as seeing just a Black Adam film. This is going to be bigger, possibly, than Shazam. It's going to be a big blockbuster. It's Dwayne Johnson, absolutely. And he's probably saying, hey, I'm a big character. I'm Black Adam. It took me 2007 to finally get a damn film. I want to kick some ass. I want to kick some superhero ass, and I think that's what they're going to give him. They're not going to wait. He's like, I'm not going to wait a few more years to kick Shazam's ass. I'm not going to wait a few more years to kick Superman's ass. I want to kick some justice ass right now, and I think that's why there's going to be so much emphasis on Justice Society of America being part of this film, so he can kick that ass, right? So I think that for people could be interesting in itself. Now, more on Wonder Woman 1984. Gal Gadot does talk a little bit about Wonder Woman 1984, and Matt McGloin from Cosmic Book News picked this up. Wonder Woman 1984 is a game changer, says Gal Gadot, and she talks a little bit about training. But I'm just going to give you the clip of the first part where she talks a little bit about, possibly about the plot of Wonder Woman 1984. This is coming from Extra TV.
The new Wonder Woman trailer came out. Everybody went crazy.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about 1984?
Well, Wonder Woman 1984 is a whole new chapter of story of its own, really, of Wonder Woman. Mm-hmm. And if in the first one we saw the coming of age type of story of how Diana Prince found her powers and became Wonder Woman, mm-hmm. in this one it's a much more, she's been around, she's much wiser and mature and lonely, and she's different. We see her in a different time of her life that we've never experienced, and then something crazy happens that changed the whole game.
Oh man, I can't wait. People associate you with Wonder Woman.
Now, interesting, she says there, where something crazy happens that changes the whole game. To me, and to many others, is just being part of the story, right? It changes their view, possibly, of society. Could this actually be what she's interpreting as saying, hey, this is changing her view of humanity, and that's why she ends up how she ends up in Batman v Superman, that mentality of not very trusting in mankind. So there's something about that as well. The other part about that is things that talk about where she kind of talks about something crazy that happens. We assume it's Stephen Trevor coming back. We assume it has to have to do with Maxwell lore. We assume it has, of course, with Cheetah and all that stuff. So we assume all that, and something substantial happened. But are we gonna actually maybe take this in, right, and figure and say, wait a minute, remember what Grace Randolph is? Not that you're saying we're going to trust Grace Randolph, but it's one more little tick to her theory about what she heard, that this is going to have some time elements in here where it alters the timeline in general because of the crazy things that will happen in this film. So I don't know. She does kind of cringe back, like she doesn't want to say, and like it's a very huge. It's a game changer, meaning game changer as in a game changer for Wonder Woman's character. A game changer for the DCEU in general. That part concerns me, but still eager to see what she means by that, and still eager to see where this film goes. This takes place in 1984, before Man of Steel, before BVS, before all that, right? What does that entail? That entails that what happens in this movie could truly be game changing, to the point that does that kind of, I don't want to say reset it, but put it on a different timeline, just like how Grace Randolph said, not Flashpoint, but sets in a different direction. That part concerns me, but willing to see where it goes from here. I want to say it really does. It's a game changer for the Wonder Woman character, for Diana Prince, in which that's why she's no longer loving humanity and mankind when it gets to Batman v Superman. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Now, the newest movie coming out is Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey is definitely coming out. It has a production budget of $80 million. Right now, box office tracking is around the $50 to $60 million range. If it does that on opening weekend, that's fantastic, because it'll be made up quite a bit of that production budget. And I see it keep going on in order to make at least break even, and so on and so forth. But we'll have to wait and see about that this coming weekend. But there has been a lot of criticism so far. There has been a lot of things talking about Birds of Prey so far, and one of those criticisms is costumes. They're saying that's not. There are people out there who are saying it's not sexy enough. It's not like this, or why does it look like that and look like this in Suicide Squad, so on and so forth. And even when it was in Suicide Squad, they were saying, why is that too? Why is she showing so much skin? What's going on with that? This is not. And yet, a female designer had designed both movies, by the way, and Margot Robbie accepted both movies. So this interview right here, I think, kind of sums it up very well, her thought process for the costumes in Birds of Prey and for the costumes that was decided for Suicide Squad. So take a peek.
What's so funny is, like, I felt sexy in all of my costumes, and I thought you guys all looked so hot.
You looked hot, woman.
You looked hot. Like,
I mean,
literally,
yeah, we did.
I thought everyone looked really hot, and I don't see why we wouldn't. Like, of course we want to look good. We don't get doled up for a night out with our girlfriends and not want to look good and look hot. But it's a different kind of thing when you're dressing for yourself and you're dressing for your friends, as opposed to dressing for a guy. And I think in the first Suicide Squad, because of the relationship Harley was in, she was very much dressing for the Joker. She was dressing in what she thought he would find most appealing. And in this film, she's dressing for what she finds appealing and what she thinks, like, the other chicks are going to find it. But do you know what's so funny is, like...
So there you have it. That is a great response, a great answer, I believe, to both criticisms, right? Not only did she talk about the criticism for Birds of Prey, she also kind of talks about the criticisms in a Suicide Squad. And perfectly said, Harley Quinn dressed for Joker. This one, she's dressing for herself. She's coming out on her own. If you guys need to see something that's very similar like that as a breakup and coming out on her own, trying to be her own villain, trying to be her own thing, go ahead and watch the Harley Quinn animated series. That first episode sums that pretty much up how you see it. And then 2 and 3 too, as Poison Ivy tries to convince her to stop thinking about Joker, and she finally dumps him, physically and mentally away. But I thought the animated series was well done, and sounds like Birds of Prey is going to go through that route as well, which can be pretty exciting. Now, speaking of more about Harley Quinn and even about Poison Ivy, looks like there may be some hints here to a possible Poison Ivy later on. Check this out.
In the opening intro kind of animatic thing, Harley has an ex-girlfriend, which I think makes her officially the first LGBTQ hero, like big screen hero. So that was like...
Well, actually, Renee Montoya is gay.
Oh, we meet Harley first.
Right.
And then Renee. So
Right,
like there's
sure.
and then there's the very interesting dynamic between Ewan and Chris.
Yes.
So there's a lot of firsts, I think, in this movie. Was that something you wanted going in?
It wasn't so much. I mean, a lot of the characters weren't built around their sexuality per se. I mean, me personally, I'd love to do a Poison Ivy film because I love in the comics the Harley Poison Ivy relationship. Some comics it's romantic, some comics it's just friendship. Either way, I'm fascinated by that, and I love seeing them together in the comics. So that's my personal point of view.
So there you go. She is very much, and I think, like she said before, that Gotham City Sirens is probably coming out right after. I mean, after this one, the Suicide Squad, and then finally another Harley Quinn movie, Gotham City Sirens. It just sounds like that's the way to go with that. And I think including Poison Ivy in there could really change it up. Especially, I don't know what happens in this movie, but for it to be a Gotham City Sirens, it's Harley Quinn, right? Poison Ivy and Catwoman, right? It ain't Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey is this team where Harley, and you also got Black Canary, and then you also have Batgirl. So I like how they talk a little bit about that as well. Just a little bit.
Yeah. And it seems like you've done your research. Are there any characters like in your dream world that you would want to see your character interact with?
Well, I think we've talked a lot about Poison Ivy and Oracle coming
Oracle,
into the mix.
you have to have Oracle.
Yeah.
I just bought my ticket.
Right.
Yeah, no, we were
right
in the other interview. We were fantasizing about like Poison Ivy and Harley against the Birds of Prey, or like
And it seems like you've done.
So the one other interesting to note here is that Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Journey mentions Oracle. They don't mention They don't say Barbara Gordon. They don't say Batgirl. They say Poison Ivy and Oracle. So that I thought that was kind of interesting to say that. It almost insinuating Batgirl has already happened. Barbara's already in the wheelchair, and she is at this phase in this timeline. She is already Oracle. So that part is like, well, all right, I guess so. It has to be that. Meaning, Cassandra Cain is possibly gonna have the Batgirl mantle later on. Early on. Maybe in the Batgirl movie we actually see that evolution from being Batgirl to Oracle, and so on and so forth. So I thought that was kind of interesting, but to see her say that, they almost kind of trying to tease you. It almost looks like it's not just playful tease. It seems like a tease of a rumor we've heard many times before. Birds of Prey versus Gotham City Sirens. Now, I know Gotham City Sirens is currently on hold. It's not gone. David Ayer says Gotham City Sirens on hold. Does that entail that it's possible David Ayer will make Gotham City Sirens and the final movie for this Harley Quinn quadrology, or whatever you want to call it, pentology, is Birds of Prey versus Gotham City Sirens. And I think that'd be pretty fantastic. I think that'd be pretty exciting to see this happen, right? We get to see these characters grow. We get to see these characters come apart as Harley Quinn moves from one group to the next, and finally justice has to be served, and they have to finally, go against each other as both their ideals are different. So I'm pretty excited if this is the route they're going to take, and I think, I don't know if this relies on the success of Birds of Prey, and if that's the case, I really hope Birds of Prey is successful, so that Harley Quinn and her production team can go ahead and greenlight other parts of this just little segment of the universe that she wants to tell her stories of. Because DC is huge, DC expansive, extensive. We've got universe destroying things down to small little crimes and groups of people fighting each other. It's a big universe, and I can't wait to see little bits and parts of anything. And the last thing I'm going to share with you is a small clip from Birds of Prey. Now, I've shared different things about the fighting and stuff like that, but not too much of Black Mask, Roman Sionis talking in a more of a dialogue with Harley Quinn. This is a small, short segment to get you the feel of maybe how dark this movie could possibly be. It's not too dark, but it does show a little bit about it and a little bit of dialogue within it to actually grasp how the drama of this movie is going to be. So check this out.
I want to kill you because without the Joker around, I can. For all your noise and bluster, you're just a silly little girl with no one around to protect her.
Whoa, wait.
What?
Don't kill me.
Ah, right.
No, seriously. Romy. Come on, this is gonna be something we can figure out. Hey. Wait, you lost something, right? You lost something, I heard you say it. A diamond. Yeah. I can help you find it. Seriously. I know the East End better than anybody. You want this diamond back? I'm your gal.
I want to kill you.
So a little bit of the plot there. Got caught. Harley trying to get out and possibly, at first, trying to help Roman get his diamond back. So we already know about that central plot device, the diamond that Roman really wants. We'll have to wait and see how that plot device actually turns out to be. Hopefully that twist, wondering if that rumored twist is true. But I like his voice here and the way he's acting here. He does sound sinister. And can you imagine with the black mask on how he's really going to sound within that? Without it, he's almost very dark and sinister here, and plays that bad guy like really well. So that makes me really look forward to how the whole movie's acted out, and when he finally gets the mask on, when it finally gets to that comic book level where Huntress has her mask, the Black Canary does the scream, and I want to see Cassandra Cain fight if she ever does. It looks like she kind of does. There's so much things that you can look forward to in this movie with the visuals and the possibly doing with the music and things like that. So looking forward to that this weekend. Check out Birds of Prey. Comes out February 7th. There's probably some pre-screenings already. You may have even watched it. But once I get to watch it this weekend, I will definitely do a review for that. All right, guys. Well, that is it for tonight. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.